Hi everybody, welcome to the weekend analysis, and this will be for the upcoming week of the 27th of October 2025. Now we have a busy week ahead. I think there's lots of earnings coming up this week, and also we have a FOMC meeting this week. So I think that are the key things to look out for. I think it's on Thursday. Markets continue to go higher, right? We start off with the S&P 500. You can see on your screen that the markets continue to churn higher. Now let me reiterate my stance in this period, right? Even though the market is going higher, I feel that there are names that are, very, very overbought. In general, the market is very, very overbought. So don't really be buying aggressively here, right? Wait for that pullback. I think that will be a much better opportunity. But nevertheless, there are still opportunities in some of the other names, right? That have already pulled back over the past couple of weeks. So let me point your attention to them going into this weekend analysis in terms of the focus list. Okay, so S&P 500, I think NASDAQ, all very similar charts, so nothing much to really talk about, but essentially you can see that markets continue to churn higher. Now, in terms of the events that are taking place, I think Monday, tomorrow, the markets will open significantly higher. Reasons because over the weekend, you will have followed the news and you would see that there is some positive trade talks between US and China, right? So those were over the weekend, and you can expect tomorrow's market to open slightly higher, right? As compared to Friday. Okay, let's get quickly into the focus list for this week. This will be very, 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 very important. So I thought I'll just cover the focus list first. As a priority this week in terms of the rather than the general market. Okay, so first of all, we have AMD, and AMD has really spiked significantly over the past couple of weeks, right? And this isn't a surprise, right? I talked about how we should be buying here, right? During this period of June, I talked about AMD breaking out, and it's up, a very, 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 very high amount, right, since June, right? So I think AMD continues to churn higher, is doing really, really well on a whole, right? I think that this stock can go a lot higher from here, right? The reason is because on the longer term trend, you can see that we broke out of a long term descending trend line. So you can expect this rally to continue over the next couple of weeks. Now, you can see, right, that these are names that have been lagged over the past couple of months, right? In fact, you will see the AMD has been lagged all the way, right, since until only a couple of weeks ago, it really started to accelerate to the upside. The reason is because obviously with the deal with OpenAI, such a massive company, right, AMD obviously has a lot of positive news flow on this. Okay, so AMD continues to trend higher. I think this one continues to remain very, very positive. Now, Micron is one that also continues to trend higher, and these are names that have been lagged over the past couple of months, right? You do see the names like Avago, Nvidia running to the upside, but names like AMD and Micron has actually been, kind of like forgotten, right? But I think we are seeing a big acceleration here for Micron and AMD, so I think that's really good news for everybody on a whole. But do I advocate buying here? I think no. I think semiconductors remain a very, very good space, but I think the markets here, AMD and Micron specifically, they are a little bit too high for my liking at this current period. AVGO on the other hand, right, looks like a potential opportunity. This is what we call a flag pattern here, right? AVGO, also Avago, also in the semiconductor space. You will see that, the trend is turning positive again after a period of consolidation about 1 month. Price is really starting to break out again of this flag. So, this kind of like the patterns that I love to see in the markets, where you do see a consolidation in the stocks, and then after over the next couple of weeks, you do see a breakout. That is what we call a very, very nice move to the upside. Dell, right? Dell looks very nice. I think Dell goes a lot higher now. This one could really surprise on earnings, right? You do see that, over the past couple of earnings report, you do see a strong acceleration, to this stock. So I think Dell has a lot of potential, right? I would say at least 175. It's a very potential target in fact in the midterm, right? What I like about this is that you are seeing a series of higher lows as well, which is a indication of a very strong uptrend. So Dell computing looks very, very nice here as well. Google, right, continue to go higher, so I want to cover this. Snowflake as well. Now, Marvell Technologies looks extremely nice for next week. Now, this is what I call one of my favorite setups. Why? Because price is not overbought, right? Price is not at the 52-week high yet. But what you're seeing here is that price has rebounded back to the 50-day moving average after a very strong breakout to the upside. And you're also seeing a very low stochastic point, which in my mind, that's a very, very nice entry, right? You want to go for risk to reward, right? And the risk to reward is that you are buying at a low stochastic point and you're buying the stock at the 50-day moving average. That's what I call a lower risk entry as compared to buying, when the stock is really running to the upside. So this is what I call a very, very nice kind of setup, right? And additionally, you can also point in the 20-day moving average, and you see that there's a crossover as well. The 20-day trading above the 50-day, that's a sign of a potential uptrend. Now, this is really, very nice stock, right? I think this goes a lot higher from here. Zscaler has broken out of this consolidation. Now, I draw this consolidation, to demonstrate to you how stocks, don't just go up in a straight line. They consolidate before moving higher, right? So Zscaler here, I think very clearly the sign is very positive. This one should head higher from here. Now, over the past couple of weeks, I've been very positive about Apple, right? I think Apple continues to go higher here. I think it's at all-time highs. So Apple continues to look really, very good as well. MDB, right? Also very, very nice. I think it's starting to turn around. Now, what I like about this stock is that it has already broken out from a long-term descending trend line in August, right? And what led to this? Earnings, right? Earnings is always the trigger. So this is what we call a perfect setup, right? You have the consolidation over the past 1 year, and then earnings, you have a move gap up above the descending trend line. That's what I call a very, very, very nice setup that I really like, right? And this MongoDB, I think, is setting up for a lot higher here. Aside from MongoDB, we have also Datadog, right? Datadog also very, very nice. I think this one will be just remove the 20 days, getting a bit messy here. But I think this is what we call a very nice cup and handle pattern, right? Essentially, you do see a low here, you do see a higher low, and then you do see a potential higher low as well being formed. Now, this is what I call a very strong uptrend, right? Uptrend is a series of higher lows, right? So you're seeing this very nicely here in Datadog. Right, so Datadog, I think eventually, you do get a breakout here above 170. I think this one in the midterm looks really, very nice. Now, one stock that stand out to me a lot this week was actually Salesforce. Now, Salesforce, why does it stand out? Is because you can see essentially it has broken out of the descending trend line and also managed to go above the 50-day moving average as well. So I think this is a very nice setup, right? You do see a bit of up down kind of move last week, but finally, right, convincing move above the 50-day moving average as well as the descending trend line. So Salesforce could be starting a potential uptrend. Now, if you look at the weekly chart, right, you do see that a series of high low has already been formed. So Salesforce, right, might be what we call an outlier name here, a potential underdog, right, going into the earnings season here because the expectations are so low already, right? The past earnings, I think it was okay, but somehow the stock slowed down over the past 1 year since the start of 2025. But I think we could potentially see a start of a new uptrend here in Salesforce. So watch for this closely. Earnings will be coming up, I think, over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, lots of names to cover this week. I think a lot of them looks highly positive, but the standout name to me will be as simple as this: Marvell Technologies, right? Marvell Technologies looks the standout name to me. You have AVGO also. I like this kind of flag pattern here, and Zscaler as well, right? Breaking out of a long-term, mid-term kind of consolidation over the past 5 months, finally breaking out of this consolidation. So these are the names I think that you can look at next week. Markets continue to go higher. I expect a very high opening tomorrow because of the news over the weekend of the potential trade deal between US and China. That will continue to be in focus as well. So yeah, a lot of exciting news ahead. Earnings, I think, coming up this week will be very, very high critical. I think the Microsoft, the Google, all these are going to report. So let me just check. Is it Google going to report this week? Yes, 29th of October. Yeah, so Google, Microsoft, all those will report their earnings this week. Yeah, Microsoft is on Wednesday. Google is on, I think, Wednesday as well. So Wednesday, and Apple will be on Thursday. So a lot of earnings coming up this week. I think that will drive the markets over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I think overall portfolio at all-time highs. All thing to you can just be happy about it, right? I think that's really nice here in the market. So yeah, wishing you a good week ahead. Please take care and stay safe.